You know, we're surrounded by everyday objects we barely give a second thought to, like a simple bar of soap. But what if I told you that inside that soap is a scientific principle so powerful it could one day deliver life-saving medicine? Well, today, we're uncovering its secret life.
Our story actually starts not with soap, but with water itself. And it's all about this peculiar property that you've definitely seen, even if you didn't know what it was called.
It's a classic image, right? You see a water strider just gliding across a pond as if it were solid ground. It looks like pure magic, but really it's pure physics. And it's all thanks to something called surface tension.
Okay, so picture this. Water molecules are super attracted to each other. At the surface, where the water meets the air, they all pull inwards and towards each other, creating this tight, almost elastic-like film. This invisible skin is what lets those insects float, and it's also why water beads up into little droplets. So water has this strong, protective skin. But hey, if you want to clean anything, you've got to break it. And that is where our hero molecule comes in, the surfactant. And what's the most common surfactant we all know? Yep, you guessed it, soap.
The whole secret to a surfactant's power is its dual personality. It's basically a two-faced molecule. One end, the hydrophilic head, absolutely loves water, can't get enough of it. But the other end, the hydrophobic tail, completely hates it. It's repelled by water, but, and this is key, it's very attracted to things like oil and grease.
So here's how that works when you're just washing your hands. Those water-hating tails, they dive right into the grease and latch on tight. Meanwhile, the water-loving heads stay pointed out towards the water. They basically surround the grime, lifting it right off the surface. So when you rinse, the water grabs onto those heads and just washes the entire package, the soap, the dirt, and all, straight down the drain. Okay, so that's how one of these molecules works. But what happens when you have millions of them, all sloshing around together in water? Well, they do something pretty incredible.
This is where the real magic of organization kicks in. See, when these surfactant molecules hit a certain concentration, they just spontaneously team up to form a brand new structure.
They form these tiny spherical cages called micelles. All the water-hating tails point inward, creating this perfect little trap for any oil or dirt. At the same time, all the water-loving heads form a protective outer shell. It's kind of like a microscopic taxi service for grime, capturing it so water can carry it away. All right, so micelles are fantastic for cleaning. We get that. But here's the big leap. Scientists looked at this perfect little capture and delivery system and thought, what else could we put inside? That's right. That exact same structure that traps a drop of grease can also be engineered to trap a drug molecule. And just like that, the humble science of soap becomes the absolute cutting edge of nanomedicine.
And the advantages here are just huge. Micellar delivery systems can take drugs that don't easily dissolve in water and make them usable. They can shield the body from potentially toxic side effects, and because they're so tiny, they can penetrate deep into tissues that other delivery systems just can't reach.
But of course, there's a catch. The micelles in your everyday soap are pretty unstable. They fall apart really easily when they get diluted, which is exactly what happens the second they enter the bloodstream. So for medicine, we needed to build a stronger, much more advanced micelle.
So how did scientists solve this problem? Well, instead of using simple surfactants, medical micelles are built from these advanced materials called amphiphilic polycomers. The key difference here is stability. You'll see this term CMC on the slide. That stands for critical micelle concentration. For soap, it's high, which means they fall apart easily. But these advanced micelles have a very low CMC, so they stay locked together and can safely travel all the way to their target. And the payoff for that is just staggering. Standard drug delivery might be effective for a few hours, but with advanced micelle technology, we can design systems that release a drug slowly, consistently, over weeks or even months, all from a single dose. I mean, this could completely change how we treat chronic diseases. And scientists are getting so incredibly creative with this. They're making drug polymer conjugates that actually lock the medicine inside, they're building multi-layer micelle films, and they're even coating medical stents with micelles that release drugs right where they're needed most. The innovation in this space is just exploding. So we've gone from an insect on a pond to washing our hands, all the way to the future of medicine. It's a pretty amazing journey, and it was all hidden in plain sight.
And this really brings us full circle, doesn't it? The same fundamental forces that let an insect walk on water are what allow us to build these incredibly sophisticated medical tools. It really is all connected.
And that kind of leaves us with a final thought. If the science of soap can lead to revolutionary drug delivery, what other secrets are hiding in the world around us, just waiting to be discovered? What everyday thing will unlock the next huge breakthrough? It really makes you look at everything a little differently.